again, everyone. What is going on? And welcome to another live stream edition of SAT Sports. First off, I'm your host, Marcus. You can see my Twitter feed right there at Marcus Elite 337 on Twitter. Yeah, you guys enjoying March Madness so far? I think we're almost at the halfway point. We're here to talk the Sweet 16 predictions for both the men's and women's. For all our baseball fans, tomorrow's the big day. It's opening day for the major leagues. We're so glad baseball is back. We're also going to have the inaugural season of the UFL coming up this weekend as well. We're going to talk as well. Jordan, tuning in. What's going on, man? Ready to talk a little March Madness once again? I think I'm ready. So, last episode I did on Monday night, I did an episode and I recapped just the first round for the women. They still had their second round going on Monday, and their Sweet 16 is not going to tip off till Friday, March 29th, and then will commence on March 30th. The Elite Eight for the women will be March 31st and April 1st, where for the men, the Sweet 16 starts actually tomorrow and Friday, and then the Elite Eight will be Saturday and Sunday. So we'll get the women's knocked out real quick. Second round recap. I know LSU had a rough start, but they finished strong. They win 83-56 over Mid-Tennessee. Duke upsetting Ohio State 75-63. South Carolina beat North Carolina 88-41. Kansas State, 63-50. Oregon State beat Nebraska 61-51. Texas beat Alabama 65-54. Baylor beat Virginia Tech 75-72, and Stanford beat Iowa State in overtime 87-31. And then Monday, the second half of the second round, Notre Dame beat Ole Miss 71-56. NC State beat Tennessee 79-72. UConn beat Syracuse 72-64. Indiana beat Oklahoma 75-68. Iowa beat West Virginia 64-54. UCLA beat Creighton 67-63. USC beat Kansas 73-55, and Gonzaga beat Utah 77-66. So that was the recap of the second round for the women's tournament as we're about to get ready for their Sweet 16. And I do have some interesting facts. I know that involves the men's. We'll get to. I got a lot to say about the men's. So we're going to go ahead and predict the women's Sweet 16 really quick. There's going to be 4 games Friday, 4 on Saturday. I know the first night, all 4 games are going to be on ESPN. The second night, 2 games will be on ESPN and 2 will be on ABC. So the regional and games are going to either be played in Albany, New York, or in Portland, Oregon. I know for sure. Portland at the Moda Center, the home of the Trailblazers. Albany, they're going to the MVP Arena. So first game on Friday at 1:30 p.m., we get Oregon State versus Notre Dame. This should be a hell of a matchup. I know Oregon State got a lot of young talent, a lot of freshmen on that team, a lot of freshman starters. Notre Dame always had a good, solid women's basketball program. Notre Dame is a heavy favorite, but I think I'm going to go with Oregon State in this one. I think the Beavers pull it off in a big upset. I'm going with Oregon State. Your second game at 4, you got Indiana and South Carolina. This one is no surprise. I think we all know we're going to pick South Carolina in this one. They're definitely a heavy favorite, so I'm picking the Gamecocks. Your third game at 6:30, we got NC State versus Stanford. I think this could be another one to watch out for, but I'm going to ride with Stanford, picking the Cardinals to win that one. Your final game, Gonzaga versus Texas, 9 p.m. on ESPN. Gonzaga don't want to sleep on the Bulldogs here, but I don't think it's going to be that close. I could be wrong, but I'm going to go with Texas in this one. I think Texas moves on to the Elite Eight. All right, the second half of the Sweet 16 for the women. It starts with LSU and UCLA at noon on ABC. This one is almost pretty even, but LSU is the favorite because everyone wants the rematch from last year's national championship. They want Iowa and LSU in the Elite Eight. They want another Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese rematch. So I think we're going to get it. I at least had LSU getting to the Elite Eight, so I got LSU winning this one, hands down. I would love for them to go back-to-back, but it's going to be tough. Their opponents are going to be in the next game. The winner of this one, Colorado and Iowa, 2:30 on ABC. Iowa is a heavy favorite, but Colorado is a team to watch. Remember, they beat LSU in the first game of the season. They took down the defending champs. So Colorado could be a sneaky team, and Iowa did struggle with West Virginia. But I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes because I want the rematch. So I'm picking Iowa. Baylor and USC at 4:30 on ESPN. I don't think it's going to be close. I'm going with USC. Big win here. And then finally, Duke and UConn at 7 on ESPN. UConn, I know, is a heavy favorite. I don't think Duke's got a chance. So I'm going to ride with the Huskies to move on to the Elite Eight. And that would be the picks for the women's bracket. Let's jump out of March Madness real quick. Let's talk some Major League Baseball. I know you guys are excited for opening day. Unfortunately, there will be 2 games that will not be played on opening day due to the severe rain that's hitting up in the far east. The Brewers and the Mets game and the Braves and the Phillies both have been postponed to March 29th. So they're probably going to play some doubleheaders. But if I pick winners of these, I'm going to go by the series. That's how we're going to do this. So when Freddie comes back, when we make some predictions like for the weekend or something, we're going to go by series winners, not single games. So if I had to pick a series winner for this one, Brewers, Mets, they're only playing, who knows, some of these games could be 3, could be 4. This one for sure is a 4-game series. So I would probably say possibly the Brewers maybe in 3 games. Mets probably get 1 win. So I'll take the Brewers in 3. Braves and the Phillies, this should be a good one. This could go either way, but I think I'm going to go with the Braves in 3 also. I'll have to give the Phillies a win. But all your other games, but that's not going to kick off. That's not going to start the whole season. I think it's the Angels and the Orioles that's going to start off. They're going to be the first game, first pitch thrown, 2:05 p.m. Central, 3:05 Eastern Time. Angels, Orioles, probably go with the Orioles winning this series. Probably do it in 4. I can see them sweeping this. 3:10 p.m. We're going to start with this one. Yankees and the Astros. I can't tell you the last time that the Astros and the Yankees ever opened up a series on opening day. And they're only going to play twice this season. They're going to play opening weekend, and they're going to play again in, I think, the second weekend of May at a Yankee Stadium. This will probably be a series. I would not be surprised if it ends in a tie where Astros take 2 and the Yankees take 2. As much as I would love for the Astros to sweep the Yankees, I don't see it happening. I know they didn't have an average spring training season, which I don't follow the spring league a lot. But I hope they at least get a win on opening night. Yeah, last year as the defending champs, they didn't against the White Sox, but I hope they at least get the win tomorrow. But how the series goes, I see it 2-2. Yankees will probably get 2 wins, and we'll get 2. Tigers and the White Sox. This could be another one that could go 2-2, or I could probably see. Supposedly the White Sox could be a good team. I don't see them sweeping them. I could see them at least getting 2 wins, maybe 3, if they have a 3 or 4 game series. Twins and the Royals. I have the Twins. I'll go with the Twins winning this series. If they do play on Sunday, which they do, I could see them probably take 3 out of the 4. And here, Pirates and the Marlins. All eyes are going to be on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Paul Skeen's supposed to be called up on the main roster. If he gets called up, I can see them sweeping. So I'll take the Pirates in a sweep. Giants and the Padres. This could go either way, but I like the Giants. I like the Giants. I could see this going probably 2-2 with the Padres if it's a 4-game series. Cardinals and the Dodgers. I know the Dodgers are a heavy favorite to win the World Series, one of a few teams. I could definitely see them sweeping the St. Louis Cardinals. So I got them sweeping them. Blue Jays and the Rays. Rays had a tremendous season last year. I don't know how they're going to be this year, but I do see them at least getting 1 win over the Blue Jays. but I'll take Toronto winning this series. Nationals and the Reds, probably going to be a bad series. Both teams are not that great, but I'll have to take the Nationals winning this series. As of right now, this will be the only game that's going to be nationally televised. Sickens me to say it, but the defending World Series champions, the Texas Rangers, hosting the Chicago Cubs. You know, night one, the first night, they're going to have the banner, the pennant presentation where they're going to show the World Series pennant. They might give their rings out night one. They might wait till night two. I don't remember how I think the Astros did it the second night. But it's obvious that the Rangers are going to possibly win tomorrow. That I have them winning the series. I don't know if they're going to sweep the Cubs. I do see them winning at least 3 out of the 4 if it's a 4-game series, which it is. So I'll say the Rangers win that series. Guardians and the A's, also a 4-game series. The A's was the worst team in the league last year. I mean, supposedly the team's moving to Vegas. If that's still the thing, I just want to see if they actually get more fans in that ballpark. But, Cleveland's going to be a hot team to watch. I have the Guardians at least maybe sweeping this team. They had, they went 0-13 at the start of the season. It wasn't until the month of May they won their first game of the season or something. It was a while before they got their first win. But I got the Guardians winning that series. Red Sox and the Mariners. See, Seattle is a team you don't want to play at their ballpark. And see, the Red Sox was another team that did not have a good season last year. But I can't see them getting swept. I'll give the Red Sox at least one win. May not be tomorrow. It could be the Friday. It could be the Saturday. It could be the Sunday. But I got the Mariners winning this series in 3 out of 4. And then finally, you got the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are supposed to be a hot team this year. I don't see them sweeping the Rockies. I think this is a rivalry. They could even it up. If it's a 4-game series, which it... yeah. No, it's not. It's a 3-game series, shockingly. No, I take that back. It is a 4-game series. I could see this tying 2-2. So, over there, are you guys excited for opening day? I know I am. I'm ready to see how this season turns out. Very excited. Baseball's back. Even though we're not going to have NFL till August with the preseason, which a lot of people are not happy with some of the changes they're making, especially on kickoff, this new kickoff rule, trying to do it like the XFL or the UFL, which we're about to get to. No, lower tackling below the belt or something like it. The NFL's getting soft. These stupid penalty with these new rules and shit, these new changes, it's going to get less interesting. That's why college football is the best. And I'm definitely ready for college football to start, especially in this new era with a bunch of teams moving to this conference, that conference, the end of an era and one dynasty and Nick Saban retiring, a new coach involved, SEC welcoming in 2 new teams, the Big Ten welcoming in 4 teams, the Big 12 welcoming 4, ACC welcoming 3, the end of the Pac-12, whether if the remaining 2 form with the Mountain West. I mean, we still got the rest of the offseason to figure that out. But I can't wait for the NFL draft. We're going to definitely talk. I think we're going to still do a watch along for that. But there is going to be some football this weekend. It don't seem like it's been 6 weeks since the Super Bowl. I think it's been 6 weeks. Actually, it's been 8 weeks. About 8 weeks. Or 7 weeks. I don't even fucking know. The Super Bowl was February 11th, so yeah, it is. It's been 6 weeks. Don't seem like it, but we're getting football back. It's a new league, the UFL, the United Football League, of course, owned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. We all know him as The Rock in wrestling. But it's a different league. They're combining the USFL and the XFL into one. There's only 8 teams. 5 originally from the XFL, but 1 is going into the USFL conference with 3 other teams. So if you remember how the conference play goes, so in the USFL conference, we're getting the Michigan Panthers, the Memphis Showboats, the Birmingham Stallions, and from the XFL, the Houston Roughnecks. Where in the XFL conference, we got the DC Defenders, the Arlington Renegades, the St. Louis Battlehawks, and the San Antonio Brahmas. 4 teams. So for the next 10 weeks, I'm going to say 11 weeks, we'll have 2 games on a Saturday, 2 on a Sunday, till we get to the championship game, week 12, which is going to be in June. So from March 30th till about between June 15th to 18th, we're going to have the USFL. 12 more weeks of football. That's not including arena football. That's going to return in April. But we're going to make some predictions. So to kick off the UFL season, we're getting the defending champs of the XFL versus the defending champs of the USFL. This game will be on Fox at noon. We get the Birmingham Stallions against the Arlington Renegades. This will be played in Dallas at Arlington, Texas, Choctaw Stadium. As much as I don't like both these teams, because backstory, I've had a team in the XFL, which is the Houston Roughnecks, but in the USFL, I'm supporting the New Orleans Breakers. The Stallions were the only team that they could not beat. The 2 years of the USFL, they've both met in the semifinals of the playoffs. Not to mention the Breakers had to play all of their games in Birmingham. They never got to host the game in New Orleans. Sadly, they did not make the cut. They had to remove the team from the league. Maybe by some miracle in a couple of years, they might grow the league if it gets success and we could get the Breakers back. But until then, I'm going to ride with the Houston Roughnecks this season. But for once, I'm going to pick a rival of the Roughnecks. I'm going to take the Renegades in this one. Even though we dominate them in the rivalry, yeah, they beat us in the playoffs to get their championship. But I'm going to ride with the Renegades because I don't give a shit for the Stallions. Then Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. on Fox, we get another team I have interest in, the St. Louis Battlehawks. They're going to be on the road against the Michigan Panthers, which the Battlehawks is a popular team. They're the only team in the league that plays in a dome stadium. You could say they're going to be my team in the XFL conference. I love their colors. I love their logo, the sword with the wings. St. Louis is a great football city, even though the Rams don't play there no more. They can actually fill up their venue. Maybe not sold out, but I'm going to go with the Battlehawks beating the Panthers. Sunday, March 31st, Easter Sunday, we get 2 games. 11 a.m. on ESPN, we get the DC Defenders on the road against the San Antonio Brahmas. Also, my bad, the Brahmas are the second team to play in a dome stadium. Battlehawks and the Brahmas. I'm going to go with Dylan's team. I know if Dylan's still listening, I know he loves the DC Defenders. I love the Beer Snake. Maybe they could do a Beer Snake in the Alamo Dome, but I'm going to go with the Defenders here. And then finally at 2 p.m. on ESPN, the Houston Roughnecks are hosting the Memphis Showboats. I'm a Roughneck. Time to go to work for the H, for the city. Houston Astro hat on, minor league T-Bud, Space Cowboys of Sugarland. Give me the Roughnecks. Even though they're going to play their home games at Rice Stadium. Who cares? I'm still riding with the Roughnecks. The uncrowned XFL champions of 2020 thanks to the pandemic. So, we're going to go ahead and just wrap up with the Sweet 16 for the men's. This is going to be an interesting group of 16. Hold on 1 second. So, here's an interesting fact before I get to some predictions here. Of all 16 teams of the Sweet 16, only 4 have never made it to the Final Four in program history. That's Tennessee, Creighton, Clemson, and Alabama. Never have been to the Final Four. Can one of them pull it off? Maybe. Now for the remaining teams, let's see. I know for sure teams like Gonzaga and Houston, their last Sweet 16, the last time they made the Final Four was 2021. Duke last made it in 2022. UConn, San Diego State made it last year. North Carolina also made it in 2022. Illinois' last was 2005. Arizona's last was 2001. Marquette's was 2003. But North Carolina State last was 1983. Purdue's last Final Four was 1980, and the team that ain't been in the longest, Iowa State's last Final Four was 1944. Whoo, that was long time ago. Now, out of the Sweet 16 teams remaining, only 6 have won a national championship. UConn, North Carolina, Duke, NC State, Arizona, and Marquette. The other schools never won a national championship in basketball. Records by the conference, they always say, we always say the SEC is the most dominant in college football and even baseball. I meant to say the Big East could be the most dominant conference in men's basketball, because as of right now, the Big East is 6-0 in the March Madness right now. The ACC is runner-up at 8-1. The Pac-12 is 6-3. The West Coast Conference 2-1. The Big 10 6-4. The Big 12 7-6. The Atlantic 10 2-2. The SEC not good, 5-6. The Mountain West 4-5, and the American Athletic Conference only 0-2 so far for the first 2 rounds of this tournament. This one goes to the Tar Heels of North Carolina. They have the most Sweet 16 appearances than any other team in the country. This will be their 31st Sweet 16 appearance. The runner-ups is their arch rivals, Duke at 29, Kentucky's at 27, Kansas at 23, and UCLA with 22 out of the top 5 most Sweet 16 appearances in the country. Currently, right now, in the with conference records in the Sweet 16, as of right now, we have 4 teams left in the ACC. 1 team, we're going to go by numbers here. 4 in the ACC, 3 in the Big East, 2 in the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12, and 1 left in the Pac-12 and the West Coast Conference. And then a couple more here before we get to some predictions. Now, in the Sweet 16, every team's last national championship, like I said, Alabama, Gonzaga, Tennessee, Illinois, Creighton, Clemson, Houston, and San Diego State never won a national championship in basketball. Arizona's last was 1997. North Carolina's last national title was 2017. NC State's last one was 1983. Marquette's last one was 1977. Duke's last national title was 2015. And for UConn, they're the defending champs. Now, I had some highlights for the women. I'll just go ahead and say real quick. For the women, their Sweet 16, the last time they won their national championships, shockingly, Duke is on this list that has never won one in women's basketball. Colorado, Oregon State, North Carolina State, Indiana, Iowa, UCLA, USC, and Gonzaga. So 9 of the Sweet 16 in the women never won a championship. South Carolina's last was 2022. LSU is the defending champs. Baylor's last was 2019. Notre Dame's was 2018. And UConn was 2016. So that's all the records I have to show and talk about for March Madness. So if you guys are ready, I'm about to get it popped up. We are going to talk and make our predictions for the men's Sweet 16 that actually starts tomorrow. I know I'm going to be glued to the TV watching a lot of men's basketball this weekend. I'm going to do what I can to watch the Astros on opening day or all weekend. Same with the UFL. But it tips off on Thursday. Now remember, the regional matchups, West region is taking place in Los Angeles, East region in Boston, the South region is in Dallas, and the Midwest is in Detroit. So it starts off Thursday night on CBS, Clemson in Arizona, 6:09 p.m. I'm going to go with Arizona. Then second game, 6:39 p.m. on True TV, San Diego State versus UConn. I'm going to go with UConn. This should be a one to watch. 8:39 p.m. on CBS, Alabama, North Carolina. North Carolina's in my Final Four. And I just want Alabama out the picture. So Tar Heels have been hot. They're a heavy favorite. They're 29-7. Bama's 23-11. Actually, it's an even matchup, but they're a favorite by 1% over. So I'm going with North Carolina. The final game for night one of the Sweet 16, we got Illinois and Iowa State, 9:09 p.m. on TBS True TV. Iowa State is also in my Final Four, so I'm going with the Cyclones to make it to the Elite Eight. And then Friday will be night two of the Sweet 16. So we get it all starts 6:09 p.m. NC State versus Marquette on CBS. I love Marquette. I've been keeping a close eye on them. I at least have them going to the Elite Eight. So I'm gonna ride with the Golden Eagles. I got Marquette at 6:39 p.m. on TBS or True TV. We got Gonzaga versus Purdue. Purdue, I have them going to the national championship, like I mentioned on the last couple episodes. So I'm going with Purdue. Then we got Duke and Houston, 8:39 p.m. on CBS. Oh man, I'm riding on Houston to get to the Final Four. Houston, don't make this a problem. I hate Duke. Get rid of them. I know you guys can handle it. I'm riding with Houston. I hope they pull it off. Finally, 9:09 p.m. on TBS. Final game of the Sweet 16. Creighton and Tennessee. It would be harsh if I, for once, don't pick an SEC team in this. Tennessee, I think, is the favorite. But don't sleep on Creighton. They are a good pro basketball team. But I'm going to have to go with Tennessee. Tennessee in a close one. I think Creighton keeps it close. I'm going to take the Vols. And then we'll see how the Elite Eight goes. And that will wrap up this episode. I will do another one on Friday night. It will be a late show after the Sweet 16's done. We'll probably go on a Saturday. I'm going to do an episode where I'm going to predict the Elite Eight. Just the Elite Eight. I might recap opening day, whatnot, but it's going to be a very short episode on Friday. And then after the Elite Eight's done, then hopefully Freddie will be back and we can predict the Final Four together. We can predict some more UFL games together, predict some MLB series and whatnot. Talk a bit of NBA basketball because I don't have much to say on the NBA right now. I'm going to wait till Freddie comes back. He should be back next week. If not, it'll be in 2 weeks. If Freddie's watching, I miss you, buddy. Can't wait to have you back. But until then, thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll see you guys on Friday night to recap the Sweet 16 and predict the Elite Eight. Y'all have a good night.